Hi guys, I'm making a video about like my whole journey through like Shane's transition. Okay, no glasses, sorry. Glare is bothering me. But pardon my rambling, pardon my nervous, not looking at the camera, kind of fidgety, because I don't know, I get nervous. Like, if Shane's making a video, whatever. If I'm in a video with Shane, whatever. But this is like the first video by myself talking about my journey, so yeah. So when I, when Shane and I first started, like, talking and flirting, whatever you want to call it, like, I considered myself a lesbian. Shane, like, at that point, maybe was thinking about it, but it wasn't really there. Oh, it was still she, lesbian, whatever. And then we started dating, and Shane finally came out to me as trans, and at first I was kind of like I knew what it was, but I didn't completely. So I completely accepted him. Like, I knew that I loved him. Like, it didn't matter to me. Like, I always considered myself a lesbian, but if I ever fell in love with a man, then so be it. Like, it would happen, because I never thought I would end up with a man. Like, never was part of my plans. But it's kind of one of those things that you don't really plan, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But so because I was uneducated, I did a shit ton of research. Like, I researched most of the stuff by myself. Like, I was nervous. Like, I was researching, like, the top surgeries, the bottom surgeries, like, hormones and all this stuff. Like, as Shane was like sleeping next to me, I had my laptop like a little creeper, like, kind of being nervous that he was gonna wake up and like find out that I'm like researching all this stuff, and I was gonna be so embarrassed. And of course, he ended up waking up and finding out that I was researching all that shit. But like, once I researched all of it, like, I was like, okay, we can do this. Like, it was just the fact that I wanted the person I love to be happy with who they are. Like, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable in their own body. Like, I want them to fit their body. Like, I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah. And so I was going to support him no matter what. The biggest problem in the beginning had nothing to do with Shane, had everything to do with me and the people around us. Like, I was getting so many questions of, well, I thought you were a lesbian. But don't you only date girls? Like, aren't you a lesbian? Like, aren't you a lesbian? Aren't you a lesbian? Like, everybody's asking me if I'm still a fucking lesbian. And it was getting, like, to the point, like, I was starting to think of, like, am I still a lesbian? Like, do I have to change my label? Do I keep it? What am I? Am I, like, was I ever really a lesbian? Or what? And it came to the point where I was, like, just stressing out, and, like, everybody else was stressing me out, like, because of this fact. And I was like, why the fuck do I have to fit in this tiny little box called lesbian? Why do I have to fit in this tiny little box called bisexual? Why do I have to fit in this fucking tiny little box to be called pansexual? I just I was done. I was like, okay, I don't want to label myself. Like, I don't put a label on myself. Like, I consider myself to be, at this point, in a heterosexual relationship, but I don't consider myself heterosexual. I don't consider myself lesbian, anything like that. I just got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna love whoever I want to love. Like, you guys can deal with it. If you got a problem with it, you can put it where the sun don't shine. So it's like, people can ask me, and like, I'll be fine. Like, I'm perfectly fine explaining why I don't want to like label myself. And like, if you have problem, if you want to label yourself, like, I'm not saying labels are a completely bad thing. It's just I personally don't want it. And so that part was hard. And then another hard part was having to tell my mom and my friends and like explain everything. And so that's why I had to do research for myself, because like, I'm dating this person who's going through this transition, but sometimes people are going to be nervous to go to that specific person and go to their loved one instead. And so I kept on getting asked the questions. So I needed to make sure I was educated enough to answer them. And I found myself being the person to correct people more. Like, I was usually the one being like, no, he. Like, I wouldn't be rude about it. Like, if you mess up, like, whatever, shit happens. We're both understandable. Or understanding, sorry. But the beginning, it was like just a bunch of questioning and being nervous and like making sure Shane knew what he wanted. Like, I didn't want him jumping into it and being like, oh wait, never mind. Like, it's not like, you can go back, but it's really hard. Like, you never fully go back once you start. And so I didn't want him to make the wrong decision, so I made him think about it a lot. Like, I was gonna like completely be fine with whatever decision he made, but I wanted to make sure he knew everything, and I wanted him to be comfortable. So I got him his first binder, his packer. It was an STP packer, which I have to fix because the piping stuff broke. But like, I was there for him 100%. Like, there was no question I was going to make him as comfortable as possible. And I just wanted to help him. Like, I was, that is my only want, is to make sure that he's becomes who I know him to be. Like, I see a man. Like, I don't see a woman, or I don't really see boobs and a vagina. It's like, it may seem weird because technically those two specific parts are there, but I don't see them that way. Like, it's a completely different mindset that once it finally clicks that, holy shit, the person I'm with is actually a man. Like, I know this may seem stereotypical, and a bunch of you may yell at me for saying this, but like, he climbed trees. He wanted to be the shining knight to save the girl from the dragon. Like, he always wanted to be the one to like rescue the damsel in distress. Like, that type of shit. Like, and I know those may be like stereotypical boy things, but it was true. Like, everything about him started like being like, holy shit. Sometimes he acts like a 12-year-old boy. A lot of the times, actually. But it was like, just my whole my whole thought process all changed. Like, once you actually get down to it. I don't have a clue if I'm making any sense. Okay. So that was the beginning. Oh, one part that I'm pretty much an open book. I don't care. So the next part was a kind of a step I had to take, was the whole sex thing. I had never had sex with a guy. Never. I was sexually abused by my older cousin when I was younger. I had a slight fear of men, but like, don't you dare say that's what made me become a lesbian, because no. Because I wasn't like afraid of men, I actually have PTSD from such like back sexual abuse experiences, but so like we had to take that into account when we had sex and we like bought our first strap-on dildo, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. Part of my language too, sorry, I'm nervous. So I had to have the first time having sex with a guy, like, but he understood my past and everything, and like was careful and knew I was scared. Like, he didn't, that's one thing, like, you can't think that a person who has only had sex with women and has that past, like, is just gonna be like, oh, whatever, let's do this. It was really scary, and I was really nervous. I'm pretty sure I cried. Pretty sure. Maybe a little bit. I don't remember. Maybe. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of those scary things, like, it's like having sex for the first time all over again. So, yeah, okay, now I'm getting embarrassed. We're moving on to the next subject. Okay, that's past stuff. Let's just get down to now, since this video is already like 13 minutes long. Shane just started testosterone a month and a half ago now. Yeah, just gave this shot this morning. We're planning on waiting, but like for a few years, just to money everything. But like, it got to the point like we're watching him, like, a little bit off topic, but not really. Being the loved one to a trans guy, they have dysphoria, and it can suck dick. So, pardon people, whatever. It can really suck. Like, to see the person you love hurt so bad and not being able to change them, like not being able to make them feel like the man they are, not being able to show them just how much of a man you see them, like, it's hard. Like, you get so helpless, you get so scared that you're not doing enough, that you're not, like, anything you do is wrong, like, you get timid of, like, how you touch them, like, how you look at them, like, you don't want to accidentally, like, look at the wrong part or anything like that. Never really happened with Shane, but this was all, like, the stuff that was going through my head. Like, I didn't want to make him feel scared. I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable. Like, I didn't want to hurt him. Like, I wanted him to see what I see. Like, but, like, it won't happen like that. He's gonna perceive himself completely different, and it's frustrating. It's so hard and frustrating and painful, but it's one of those things. You're gonna have to deal with it, and you're gonna feel lost. You're gonna feel alone, because honestly, you hear a bunch of trans guys talking. Like, I did find a YouTube thing of just girlfriends of trans men, but like, it's really rare to have a girlfriend know as much or be as involved and like, or admit that you go through the transition too. Like, it's hard. Like, and so when he started testosterone and he started having mood swings, and those are the hardest thing. Like, one minute everything's okay, and the next minute, like, everything's not. And like, with testosterone, there's highs and lows, and it, it'll be that way until the hormones level out, and it can be anywhere from 3 months to 6 months to a year. It really all depends on the person. And the first, like, few weeks of him being on testosterone, like, it was hard. Like, he's changing a lot, and like, his mood swings, he was snapping at me, but being fine with everybody else. Like, just little tiny things, and it makes you think that you're doing something wrong, you're too insecure, like, something's wrong with you, or me. And it's taking a lot out of me. Like, like, physical changes, voice changes, like, anything like that, like, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't freak me out, it doesn't scare me. Like, my biggest fear when he first started testosterone was that he wasn't, like, he was gonna change and he wasn't gonna love me anymore. That was my biggest fear. Like, I don't really have the best self-confidence in the world. Like, I don't feel like I deserve him, like, that type of stuff. Like, sorry, getting emotional. Like, that's just how I feel. Like, I didn't know, I had never had anybody stay that long, like, or this long. Like, I never thought anybody would want to be with me for life since he asked me to marry him. Like, and then so once the mood swings started and the snapping started, like, I was afraid my fear was going to be coming true. I was afraid that he wasn't going to love me anymore. But it's one of those things that, like, trans guys, whoever's watching this, you need to know, you do, that your spouse, your girlfriend, your fling, your family, they're going through it with you. If you get mad at them because they get stressed, because they get emotional, because they feel just lost in this whole thing, and you get angry at them, you're wrong. They're going through it with you, and it's going to suck. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be a shit road. But you have to support each other. Like, if you go through all of this and you're not willing to support your girlfriend through it too, if you're too set up that, like, oh, woe me, it's all me, me, then good luck with that. It's not gonna work out for you. And I'm not saying that Shane does this. Like, we have to communicate like crazy and just work it out. And it's getting better. Like, we're fighting together. Like, we're fighting for this. And that's what you have to do. Like, if you're a trans guy and you're with a loved one, you have to fight together. You have to support each other. Like, if the trans guys don't support their girlfriends, good luck. Yeah. Okay. last topic, because this is already 20 minutes, holy shit, and I don't even know if this is gonna fit on YouTube. I give him his shots, and it's scary. But since he can't watch needles go in his leg, I do it, and so I've stepped up to the plate. And yeah, that's the last thing. I was really nervous about that, didn't want to hurt him, all that jazz. Okay, I babbled on too long. And now I'm nervous and emotional and was trying not to cry earlier, so thanks for watching this really fucking long video, and I'll stop boring you all, and yeah. Thanks.